Now let's talk about an adaptable and flexible process. This approach will be your foundation and the place you start from whenever you're doing any sort of UX. Learn this once now in this course, and it will serve you well for years to come as you practice UX in the wild. In this class, we'll be learning a way to apply UX, which works in the real world for both startups as well as agencies. There's an underlying methodology and order of events, like waterfall, but there are also ways you can be agile and iterate throughout the process, like agile. It's a flexible, scalable structure, and depending on how you're working, it can compress or expand, and you can move back or forward and iterate as needed. We could call it an agile waterfall approach, but just to simplify it, let's call it scalable UX. Broadly speaking, this structure has two parts: strategic UX and interaction design. Strategic UX happens early. Strategic UX work is really big picture thinking. It's about defining the North Star for the business or the parts of the business you're working on, and answering the broad questions: where should we be going? How can we move in that direction? What's the problem that we're trying to solve? What are the opportunities? What's our strategy? Interaction design, on the other hand, is about answering more specific questions, focusing more on solutions, tactics, and designs. And broadly speaking, these are the key parts of being a UX practitioner. But as we know, UX does not exist in a vacuum. UX needs to fit into the broader context of what you're trying to do on a given project or with a given product. So let's look at an example process methodology and talk about how UX fits in and about how things can expand or contract. Every agency has a process. At their core, they're usually very similar. So let's look at an example now. Now, in the last lecture, we talked about how planning is guessing, but you have to start somewhere. So this can show us what a baseline process might be like. This is the internal process blueprint at the last agency I worked at. And although there are 7 steps here, which we'll go through in a minute, we can quickly sum them all up as learning, making, and getting feedback. Those 3 things are the soul of the process: learn, make, get feedback. 7 items here are a lot, but it will help us to break things down into manageable pieces we can explain more specifically. And these 7 steps can be the outline for our scalable process. So let's go through them quickly. Now, I know you may be thinking to yourself right now, ugh, all these corped out terms. These are esoteric and abstract and silly. But I have 2 things to say in response. Number 1, it helps to break down an example company process because as you work in the field, you'll find that they're very, very similar. And once you understand one, it's increasingly easy to understand any others you encounter. And it will make you feel more confident and feel more prepared to have this knowledge under your belt. And number 2, this talk of process and these more abstract ideas are not the focus of the entire course. Whew. They are just here in the beginning to give you a better sense of context for this type of work, and especially performing this type of work in a company setting. So bear with it, and we'll be on to less abstract things soon enough. All right, let's dive in. Number 1 is called discovery. And it's really about learning as much as you can about things like your product space, your users, and if you're working for a client, the current state of their business. This is really about getting the lay of the land and trying to understand the space that you're working in as best as you possibly can before you dive in. Number 2 here is concept. And this can be seen as figuring out your big strategic goal or concept. What's your North Star? What are you broadly aiming for? What is everything laddering up to? Where does your business need to go? And most importantly, what are the 2 or 3 things which are most important to your users? For example, is it to book a ticket easily, get relevant news fast, find the quickest way home? What is it that you must do in order to satisfy the key needs of your users? Number 3 is invent. And invent is where you begin to make things real. You're still exploring, but you're locking down things like features and functionality and beginning to commit more to the designs. There's a lot of sketching and wireframing typically here. And then moving forward to phases like define and build, things move into higher fidelity, usually in visual design, and the intended functionality is documented in the designs. These are called the functional specs. And the work is moved into development, the coding, and the build. Followed by releasing, and then measuring, and then using what you learn to start over. The big takeaway is that things start broad and strategic and then get more specific and tactical. and there's a lot of iteration going on along the way as needed, especially in the early phases. And when we look at this chronologically, here's how a typical client project looks. Strategic UX happens first, followed by interaction design. Strategic UX is where we're gathering input, defining who the users are, identifying opportunities, defining what success means, and loosely exploring how we might get there through a few ideas and sketches. Interaction design is about actually making it real, making something that we can turn on, making something that people can use. During this process, we identify flows, define requirements, create wireframes, and then later functional specifications. So this is how a typical project looks, but this can flex. This wasn't a startup. Actually, this was CNN. You can see the concept and design phases were mashed up into a rapid iteration cycle that led to the final approved work, and then CNN then built it themselves. And newer platforms, like developing for something like an Xbox Kinect, might look something like this. If we're trying to do something really new and cool, we might have developers start working early with prototypes just to make sure it's possible and the interactions feel right. And a startup process, or a process on a smaller project, could look something like this. It's even more rapid and compressed. The overall release cycle is shorter, but there's a lot of iteration taking place as we quickly go through all these cycles, a lot of doing things ad hoc. But regardless of the situation, at its soul, the process is three things: learning, executing, and getting feedback. The output of the learning is a strategy. What are the 2 or 3 things that are most important to users? What's the problem we're trying to solve? The output of execution is a defined user experience, final visual designs, and a live experience, something that people can actually use. And the output of feedback is more learnings, which you can roll back into your process to continue to make incremental improvements. We get these learnings from things like analytics and the ongoing user testing.